Chapter 41. The girls never missed a day and kept up their 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. schedule and took beautiful care of their mama. Family and friends would continue to visit and show Michelle their love, and I had to manage their coming and going so Michelle could maintain some privacy. The 2 beds in the living room made up her entire living space, and I made sure that was respected. Death is a private act done publicly, in the sense that we have to do it ourselves, but we have to rely on the people around us to take care of us. Now, there are as many ways to die as there are grains of sand, and one of them belongs to each of us. Now, if we're lucky, ours is one without pain, without fear, and we're not alone. If we're really lucky, we're surrounded by love, and we're comfortable, and the presence of God gives us and our loved ones a sense of peace and connection to that which is holy. To the very extent that I could, I was going to help my wife die well. Tears poured as I was writing that, because that's a job that nobody wants. But it's one of the most important jobs that will ever be required of you. So I kept the flowers fresh and kept the sheets clean and managed the visitors and bandages and bedpans and medicine, food, drink, and whatever else my Michelle needed. I did it with as much love and as much attention as I knew how. I didn't have to do it by myself. I had plenty of good help. But I would have done it by myself in a heartbeat. Any of us would have. Michelle was surrounded by the people that love her most in this world, and we made sure she felt it. Now, in my spare time, I prepared scriptures for her, focusing on the ones with powerful reminders of God's love, the eternal nature of the Spirit, and an unconditional love for us by a beautiful man named Jesus. And when Michelle came home from hospice, I was off work, and the girls were here too, of course. But sometimes they'd be hanging out, and I could come in here in the kitchen, and my free time, I could look for scriptures for her. And what I was doing was trying to prepare scriptures in case she got afraid, because death is scary. Death is very scary. It's like, I compare it to standing at the top of a 300-foot cliff and you can't see the bottom, and you know you have to jump. Now, I don't care how strong your faith is. Fear can still happen. So I prepared reminders from Scripture that there would be a soft landing. Now, while I prepared these reminders, I couldn't help but think deeply about them myself. See, I wasn't just choosing verses that I thought would comfort Michelle, but I was choosing the ones that I believed in with conviction. And the words of Jesus in particular rang with new meaning. So I should probably explain, I've loved God for a very long time now. And back then at this time, I knew about Jesus, of course, but mostly thought of him as just being a good man and a prophet of God. Killed like most prophets were for spreading a message that the established religious leaders of the time felt threatened by. To me, he was a historical figure, a real man and a prophet, but no more divine than any other prophet or preacher that willingly gave their life for God. But as I prepared these scriptures for Michelle, I began to see a difference in nature, a beautiful essence, something with more characteristics of the divine in Jesus and his words and his actions. And to summarize it, I think the other prophets, they may have been good men that loved God just as much as Jesus did. But none of them loved us as much as Jesus did. It still does. Now, he exemplified this in all ways at all times. Think about it. Go back and read it. Always at all times he exemplified this. And he never missed an opportunity to love people and to help them and to bring them closer to God through compassion and acceptance and unconditional love. Even when he knew for a fact it was going to get him killed. Slowly, painfully, while being mocked and humiliated and tortured by those same people he was trying to love and help. Now I began to see why they call him the Son of God. Because if that isn't the divine nature being present in a man, then I don't know what is. I prepared scriptures for Michelle and grew closer to Jesus myself. As the days passed, Michelle grew weaker, but her best traits stayed strong. After sitting at her bedside for a couple hours straight on a hard wooden chair from our kitchen, one of these, my mom slowly creaked her arthritic joints up. And she took Michelle's hand and she tenderly told her, "I'm going to have to get up for a minute to loosen up, but I won't be far, my daughter. If you need me, I'll just be right in the kitchen." And Michelle smiled and said, "Okay, Mommy. If you need me, I'll be right here." So many loving and tender moments. I'll tell you another one that makes me smile and breaks my heart at the same time. Is after helping Michelle with something, I asked her, "Darling, is there anything else I can get for you? Anything at all you need?" And she gazed at me tenderly. And I could still see her so clearly. She had the sweetest look of the purest love on her face. And it was so beautiful and holy. Weakly and ever so softly, she replied, "Yes, I need your love."